hold the phone. You will never believe this story, and I apologize if you're a little easy queasy. You may want to skip this one, just telling you. So, a delivery driver has won a $50 million lawsuit against none other than Starbucks. Now, why, you ask? Well, somebody got a little willy-nilly with his hot tea. Now, to give you a little backup here, the defendant's name is 25-year-old Michael Garcia at the time of the incidents. He was a Postmates delivery driver. He was picking up 3 Venti hot teas, okay, in February of 2020. The barista passed him a cardboard drink carrier, and one of the lids was askew. They handed it to him, and within moments, the whole drink carrier caved in on itself, and 2 of these drinks landed in this poor man's lap. This caused him third-degree burns that required multiple surgeries, including 2 skin grafts. Yep. He also reports that he still has ongoing pain, sexual dysfunction, and permanent scarring. I can tell you right at this point, my husband says 50 million is not enough for what this man has gone through. Not enough. Not enough.
I think once it involves the genitals, that's it. The price tag goes way up.
Yeah. Now, of course, the lawsuit blames the injuries on the Starbucks employee, saying that the employee didn't wedge the hot tea firmly enough into the takeout tray. And they even showed footage of the whole encounter where it basically showed the same thing. Now, before you all just automatically assume that judges always side with the injured, let's roll back, So judges have actually ruled in favor of restaurants. So they actually do take into account what a normal, average, regular person would expect. So back in the 90s, there was a child who tipped a cup of McDonald's hot coffee onto himself. Okay, this happened in Iowa. And the judge sided with the restaurant that it was not unreasonable for the store to be responsible, because someone should have been looking at this child and should have kept them away from the coffee. It wasn't their fault. Right. Now, of course, the most famous coffee incidents of all happened around, in the 90s in New Mexico. A woman was awarded nearly $3 million in damages for burns she suffered, once again, in a drive-thru with hot liquids. But eventually, she only basically got a settlement of a little under $600,000. No information as whether her sexual was functioning. I'm just saying. Right. So maybe that's where, because this is a 25-year-old guy. Didn't mention if he had children, if he had planned on having children. Was he married? There's a lot of questions there, and I'm sure they were brought up in court.
There's a lot of quality of life issues.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure. Oh, I mean, we've talked before about like the barbecue sauce incidents. If you are in a drive-thru and you are handed hot, steaming liquids, and in a drive-thru, your car is not in park, you have to maintain your foot on the brakes, and something scalds you, and you can't even move because you can't take your foot off the brake, because if you do, your car starts moving. Yeah. So you are stuck in that position with super hot whatever all over your whatever. And you can't do anything about it. You can't jump up and down. You're just stuck. And that's insanity. Now, as a former Starbucks employee, I'm sure you got burned a couple times. Did you ever burn anyone in the drive-thru?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, if
I'm sure you would have known. I'm sure the scream would have been loud.
No, but I've burned myself. And like the water that comes out of the spigot that comes through the brewer or even to the hot teacup is crazy hot. There's a reason why it's double cupped and with a sleeve on it. Like you can't, the milk isn't steamed nearly as hot as what comes out of those spigots. I had a cup of coffee, coworker walking behind me, hit me with a fresh brewed cup of coffee, and coffee has oils in it. So it went and stuck around for a little bit. The only blister I've ever gotten was from that. And it is uncomfy, to say the least.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And so I can just imagine, like, so when something hot, you know, comes out of the oven, comes out of
Mm.
boiling water, it takes a while for that liquid to go down. Like,
Yeah.
and it's not like you could just dump a pile of ice in his lap, because don't ever put ice on burns. That's the absolute worst thing you can do. Don't
Now
throw
that you brought
butter.
it up,
Don't throw
that's
butter on it
that's
either.
something. If you need to treat a burn, the first thing you need to do, whatever it is you've burned, take the temperature of that down as gently but quickly as possible. So you're not trying to throw ice on it. You're not trying to sit your hand in a bowl of ice water under running water. So that way it's constantly changing. And you're supposed to let it run until the pain subsides. If the pain doesn't subside, that's when you seek medical attention, because that means it's beyond a first degree or even the beginning stages of a second degree. You're starting to reach a point where you need medicational help, or like
Intervention.
or intervention of some kind. So like that's your first step. So run under cold water until the burn goes away. If the burn does not subside,
And
second
not
degree burns have happened.
not freezing cold water, just cold. Like,
Right.
almost like just at my house, like if you just turn on the tap, just turn on cold, not like all the way. It's not like it comes out as a Slurpee. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not partially frozen, but you would just need it to cool down a little bit, because if you cool it down too quickly, you can actually cause nerve damage, because that area is so sensitive.
Yep.
In cooking, when you pull something out of an oven, it has carryover cooking to where you may pull a piece of chicken out of your oven and it says it's 160 degrees, but by the time you go eat it 15 minutes later, it actually hit all the way up to 180. Like, it's still
Yeah.
cooking even though it's out of the oven. And the same thing, unfortunately, was happening in his lap. Even though the spill had already occurred, the temperature still took time to get down. Now, unfortunately, this is not the only case against Starbucks. There's another pending case. It says here that she filed a similar burn injury, alleging that a barista mishandled a cup of coffee, spilling it on her lap and causing severe nerve damage and disfigurement. Her case is set to go to trial in February of 2026. Like, I mean, I personally have never been, traumatized by a hot cup of coffee. But when you deal with crazy hot liquids like this, or even crazy hot barbecue sauce,
Yeah.
you have to be careful. Like, and think about when you're doing a job that's extremely repetitive. And I get that, how working like a drive-through, cup, car, cup, car. Like, I can see, or it's really busy and you get distracted. I mean, it just goes to show. I don't know. Like, I
I
don't know
think
how
I
you
think there's
you
I think
fix.
there's something to be said for the pace of things in a store in that environment and the amount of people working during busier times, because when you're short staffed or you're not staffed well enough to equip the type of business that you do, that's when you've got safety concerns and you don't have the ability to take that extra moment to make sure that things are settled in properly. So like, I don't know, maybe there was some aspect of that wasn't made public, that there was some fault, and that's why the judgment was so high. So because we haven't seen a judgment that high for an instance like this. But I mean, the water is at least 180 degrees. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing it was actually much higher than that, because the boiling point of water is 212. And if you're
yeah.
getting hot tea, I'm guessing it's going to be closer to the 180 range.
Mhm.
You
That's
know?
what I was thinking. It was probably right around 180.
Yeah. So let us know down below, is 50 million enough for permanent disfiguring, ongoing pain and sexual dysfunction caused by hot tea? My husband claims no, it's nowhere near it. And the more I think about it, this is a 25-year-old guy. We don't know what his plans were, if his plans are even possible. So, what do you think? Is this enough? Maybe he should get more? Like, what do you think? Tell us down below.